way to be as feminine as I could. And I sort of had it narrowed down to two voices, one that was a little...
You're listening to The Glenn Mitchell Show on KERA 90.1. I'm Jean Mascoro. Happy Friday. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the entire KERA 90.1 listening area until 7 p.m. this evening. Other than that, a 60% chance of rain for the rest of the afternoon with expected highs of 85 degrees. Overnight, we have a 30% chance of rain with lows of 73.
Welcome back. First hour today. Anything you ever wanted to know, all questions answered, all knowledge revealed. Questions like this one from Mike in Irving. Maybe Glenn knows the answer to this since he used to be a radio DJ. Well, the problem was I was a DJ in the 1920s. So I'm not going to help. However, his question is this. Elvis Presley's song Suspicious Minds from 1970 or thereabout fades out at the end, then fades back in. I've always wondered, what is that? Studio mistake? Intentional? What's the answer? From Frank and Garland. Does anyone know why it is that super glue instantly bonds skin together? But anything else that you're trying to glue paint? Somebody, Todd in Dallas, wants to know how to get a copy of the 3-part video from the early 90s on Nova, The Dark Side of the Moon. Rick wonders if mockingbirds, this has come up before, and I don't remember the answer. Do mockingbirds have their own song? From Debbie, after the tsunami, the reports said 11 countries were affected. Which ones? I can only see on my map 7 or 8. India, Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, Bangladesh, the Maldives, Indonesia, and Somalia. And also wonders what countries were the original EU. Well, the original EU was called the Common Market. And that was the Benelux and maybe France and Italy and Spain. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to fill us in on that one. 800-933-5372 or gms at kera.org. And Bill wonders about the origin of the phrases, Katie barred the door, and that's all she wrote. So if you can help, 800-933-5372 or gms at kera.org. Any questions you need answered, this is the place to call. 800-933 to the idea, early 20th century. You're in Texas, you're a Democrat, you would vote for a yellow dog before you voted for a Republican. Bridget says, in response to the call from the listener on May 27th, blah, 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 this term came into use after the end of Reconstruction. First, the term yellow was synonymous with mixed breeds, mongrels whose parentage was questionable or no count widely used, mostly derogatory. After the Civil War, the Republican Party forced punitive laws through Congress, imposing severe hardship upon former Confederates. And so those who wanted to vote Democrat voted Democrat despite anything the Republicans ran. So there's the answer. 800-933-5372, gms at kera.org. And Bill in Garland, good afternoon.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey.
About the superglue question. Superglue is actually known, or the chemical is cyanoacrylate, and it's catalyzed by water. And so if you have water in your skin, it's going to react very quickly with your skin. So that's that half of the question. The other half is if you want your things to stick quicker, you put your super glue on, and then you breathe on it with a breath of moist air, and then stick them together.
I found that works just on my own, but do you know why it works?
It what I've heard is that the water in your breath is a catalyst to the reaction.
Very good. All right, Bill, thanks. One line open, 800-933-5372 or gms at kera.org. How about Ken in Fort Worth? Hey,
Hello?
Ken.
Yes, I had an answer to the super glue question.
Go ahead.
The cyanoacrylic reacts with the proteins that are in the finger oil, and that's why it reacts so quickly. It's also why they can use it to erase fingerprints. The fumes from the super glue.
Very good. All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
One line open, 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. All questions answered on anything you ever wanted to know. Sometimes they get answered more quickly than other times, but Everett in Weatherford, good afternoon.
Yeah, Glenn, this is Everett, and my wife and I were watching To Kill a Mockingbird, that Gregory Peck movie.
Yes.
And in the courtroom scene, they keep referring to something called a chipper robe or a shipper robe or something. I don't know. It sounds like a piece of furniture, maybe.
It is yes.
It drives me nuts. I grew up in the South, and I thought I knew most words, but I don't know that one. Can you help?
Yes. Gosh, how do you spell it? It's the equivalent of a closet or hold on, we have help here. Great Abby Goldstein walking to the microphone, putting on headphones, and it's a dresser, right?
Yeah, it's actually, we had one for a while. It's a dresser that has a couple of small drawers in it. So
Shift robe.
Shift robe.
Yeah.
Do you know how to spell it?
No, I really don't.
You're fired.
Okay.
But you know what? Wait a minute. You know what? We have a dictionary right here, Glenn. So I'll work
I keep
on
forgetting
it.
you fire me. All right, we will get the spelling for you.
Great.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
One line open, 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. All questions answered. And Gabriel in Fort Worth. Hi.
Hi, Glenn. I was just wondering, I've always wondered this, where does the term dressed to the nines come from?
It won't surprise you to know this question has come up before. And the best that we've been able to come up with, I think, is that nine is a trinity of trinities. And so the best you can possibly have is 3 times 3, and so dressed to the nines is the best you can possibly be dressed.
Oh, okay.
If you can come up with something better than that, or if you can have your friends call, we'll be glad to put them on the air. But I think it's a trinity of trinities, and that's why it's dressed.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
There's probably still a better answer. And if there is, by golly, we'll get it. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. And Donnie, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon,
Hey.
Dan. I am addicted to mineral water. There's this Mexican mineral water with a little bit of lime in it. I probably drink about 4 or 5 a day. Is there anything, is it bad to drink too much mineral water? Is it basically just like drinking water?
I can't imagine that there would be anything bad about it, because if there was, believe me, the company would have figured out we have to, at least to cover our butts, put some sort of message on the label.
That's the thought, but it's always been in my mind,
Yeah, I mean,
it's bad to drink too much.
I tell you what, we'll ask the question, and if somebody knows, somebody will call. But I'm guessing that you're okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. But if somebody does know, if we're off the okay, very good. See, you ask a question, you get an answer. Schifferobe is spelled Chifforobe. There you go. Where should we go here? How about Monique in Arlington? Hi. Monique?
Yes.
Yes,
Hello.
you're on.
This is Monique. Yes, hi.
Yes.
Well, listen, I actually used to work in the common market as an interpreter, so I can tell you that the founding members were the Benelux countries, and then Germany, Italy, and France.
So I was wrong about one of them.
Spain became a main member much later.
On. Okay, very
much
good.
Later on.
So it was Benelux, Germany, Italy, France.
Yep, there we go.
What languages did you interpret?
I interpreted at the time Danish and English into French.
And you learned Danish because?
My mother was Danish.
Very good. All right, Monique, thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
I knew we'd get that answered. Didn't think it'd be quite so fast, but there we go. 1-800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. And Matthew in Dallas. Hi.
Hi, Gordon.
Hey.
Love your show. Yeah, I want to know if there is any law against people who chew cigarettes out of the car. Impeccable.
I can't imagine that there is. I mean, unless they're driving through pools of gasoline.
The
But
thing is, if your sunroof is open,
no, I understand.
Probably not.
There's a problem. It'll blow into your car and set stuff on fire. But is there an actual law on the books against throwing a lit cigarette out of the car? I don't think so, but we will certainly try to find out.
okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
thanks. Somebody will know. Perhaps a policeman is driving around, listening on the sly, will call us. 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. Let's get a call from Marla in Fort Worth. Hi.
Hi, Glenn. I know that your super glue question has pretty much been answered in a scientific way, but I wanted to say something pretty interesting. Recently, because of cracked skin, I work outside. A pharmacist at a well-known drugstore told me that super glue was originally invented as a surgical suture, and because it dried so quickly, that's how it was remarketed as a glue that we now know it. And actually, Glenn, it works perfect.
It was for surgical sutures?
Yes, a suture. And they came up with it to actually bond skin, and this is what the pharmacist told me. He said, but it dried so quickly that they couldn't use it in in surgery.
Very interesting.
It is, and it works great because it's going to clean your wound out really good.
Because when you put it on, you're done. All right.
And it does not burn, by the way. Don't be scared.
Very good. Marla, thanks.
All right.
One line open, 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. Coming up in the next hour, what has been called the definitive biography of Frank Sinatra. We'll have the authors on. Let's get a call next from Dan in Fort Worth. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Fine.
Oh, I may have an answer to that phrase, dressed to the nines.
Okay.
I believe it's a British phrase that refers to a term from India, which refers to the nines, especially refers to the 9-yard sari worn by Indian women, which is supposed to be the epitome of Indian dressing, which is supposed to be an elaborate dress that women wear, which is heavily embroidered and made from the finest cloth. So if you were dressed to the nines, you were wearing a 9-yard sari, which is an elaborate process by which you get ready and get dressed.
We have gotten multiple answers to this question. That is the first time we've gotten this one, and I like it.
All right.
Dan, thanks.
Welcome.
Okay. One line open, 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. Again, all questions answered. Not answered right. We don't promise accuracy here. We don't promise truth, but we do promise at least an answer. Amanda, good afternoon.
Hello, I love this show.
Thank you.
I'm glad I could finally answer one of the questions.
Good.
It's about the mineral water.
Yes.
Yes, you can drink way too much water, and it can throw off your electrolytes and make you very sick. You may have heard of the SMU frat thing that happened where the kid drank way too much water and almost ended up dying.
Okay, so if I drink mineral water, two bottles a day, 3, that's okay. But if I go beyond 6,
I think the rule of thumb is you take your weight and divide it by 2, and that's kind of your limit for fluid ounces a day.
Okay. So what is it? I mean, we're bumping up against break here, but what is it in the minerals that would throw your body off?
It dilutes all the sodium in your body.
Ah. Okay. All right. Very good, Amanda. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One line open, 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. We have a shift robe dispute coming up after the break, plus your calls, 800-933-5372, GMS, KERA.org. We'll be right back.
Support for KERA comes from you, our members, and from Green Mountain Energy, supporting your healthy lifestyle. Information on Green Mountain Energy's pollution-free electricity made from only wind and water is available on the web at pollutionfree.com. D Magazine's sister publication D Home and the Dallas Auction Gallery hosting the first annual Antique Appraisal Day benefiting the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of North Texas, Saturday, June 4th from 10 to 4. Tickets at dallasauctiongallery.com.
What's cuter? puppies
You're too adorable.
or pouty, curly-haired children?
Lollipop.
I frankly found it repulsive. I mean, I said, really? I mean, it's just a dog.
I'm Kurt Anderson. Join me with the Penn State Professor of Cute next time in Studio 360 from PRI.
Sunday afternoon at 2 on KERA 90.1 Radio Unlimited.
One could sing like a bird, the other had the drive of a steam locomotive. In the first half of the 20th century, the violin and button accordion ruled the dance floor in the American Southwest. I'm Paul Brown, inviting you to hear how the German accordion adapted to Texas-Mexican rhythms and how a charismatic fiddler named Bob Wills packed dance halls with his Texas swing. Join me for Honky Tonks, Hymns, and the Blues, Raising the Roof from National Public Radio.
Sunday night at 6 on KERA 90.1 Radio Unlimited.
You're listening to The Glenn Mitchell Show on KERA 90.1. Just a reminder, the National Weather Service in Fort Worth has issued a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 7 p.m. for the entire listening area. Expect lots of rain today. That high should be up around 85 degrees. That overnight low, 73.
Welcome back. First hour today. Anything you ever wanted to know, all questions answered. We say that so boldly every week, and okay, so they don't get answered that day. We'll get to them eventually. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org, and Mike in Garland. Hi.
Hi, I'm wondering where the B in a spelling bee comes from. Why isn't it a spelling contest?
Ooh, what a good question. We've never gotten that question before, and I don't know the answer. And now that you've asked, it's an excellent question. Spelling bee. I'll bet that there's some sort of 19th century answer for that. B meant something then, and we've lost the sense. But it's a heck of a question. We'll find out.
Thanks.
All right, thanks. Somebody will know. 800-933-5372. GMS at KERA.org. Got this one from Jason. I've noticed, I've one that's been puzzling me for a while. Maybe it's just me. But has anyone else noticed that dogs' paws smell exactly like Fritos? Now, the more sinister question is why? Is it just coincidence? Does Frito-Lay have some sort of unholy agreement with the Dallas Humane Society? Some questions, we don't actually expect to get answers to. But if you know why your dog's paws smell like Fritos, you can call us. 800-933-5372. GMS at KERA.org. Robert wonders where to donate old cell phones. And Life of Riley, this question came up before. Where does this phrase come from? I mean, I know that before it was a TV show in the 50s, it was a radio show before that. But presumably, it was called The Life of Riley because there was a phrase, a term, Life of Riley, and it meant something. And maybe somebody knows. Question from Irene, listening on the sly at work. What is the origin of the song Rockabye Baby? I was singing it to my daughter a couple of nights ago and realized it was a bit gloomy. If somebody can help Irene, call us. 800-933-5372. Or GMS at KERA.org. Got this one from Wendy in Denton. Subject line, burning question. See, that's how you get our attention here. When staying at hotels, I unwrap their small bars of soap. I notice that after the housekeepers have come to straighten up, change towels, etc., the open bars of soap are replaced with new wrapped ones. What do they do with those barely used, unwrapped bars of soap? I've wondered that myself. 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. Let's get a call from Peggy in Dallas. Hi.
Hi. I think I have a better answer on the chifforobe.
Very good.
Okay, it is a piece of furniture, but it's actually a combination of a wardrobe and what's called a chiffonier, which is a tall, narrow chest of drawers. So it should be a wardrobe on one side and a chiffonier on the other side. And I think that the word chifforobe is spelled chiffo from chiffonier, and then robe from the wardrobe part.
Very good. All right. Thank you very much.
Sure.
All right. One line open, 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. Although, if I have to believe my boss or you, I sort of have to believe my boss. But she might come in and yield. You never know. Let's get a call from Kristen in Arlington. Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
I was wondering, on the Elmer's glue bottle, there is this creature. I can't really tell what it is. It's kind of like just creepy looking. Do you know what that is?
No. But go ahead.
I don't know. I'm
All right.
trying to figure that out.
So is it a cow? I mean, is it a bull? Is it...
It looks kind of like a ram or a bull or a...
All right, so there's...
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Let me spare you further embarrassment. There is a creature on the Elmer's glue bottle, and you want to know what it is.
Yes.
We will find out.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Somebody will know. 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. Robert, good afternoon.
Hey.
Hey.
I have a question for answer for the super glue.
Excellent.
One, you said it was used as a type of like a suture or surgical. I know a lot of people that play hand drums, like the congos and the bongos.
Yeah.
They'll put the super glue on cuts on their fingertips.
No
keep
kidding.
it from bleeding and stuff. Yeah.
Wow. So that must stop it quickly.
I guess so.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
One line open, 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. And Ray in Plano. Hi.
Hi. This comes from my 10-year-old daughter. There are AA and AAA batteries. There's also C and D batteries. What happened to single A and B batteries?
Oh, gosh. This has come up before, and, of course, we've gotten answers every time it's come up, and, of course, I don't remember. There's a good answer, and we'll get it.
Beautiful.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Somebody's calling right now to remind me of the stuff that I should remember. 800-933-5372. GMS, KERA.org. Somebody will know. Karen in Fort Worth. Hi.
Hi, this is Corinne.
Oh, Corinne, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I actually don't have an answer to a question, but I just wanted to say that my teenage son has been telling me for a few years that our dog's paw smelled like tortilla chips. So I just wanted to concur with that and say that, yes, they do smell like chips.
So this isn't one guy going off the rails. I mean...
No. It's a fact. And we don't know why they smell like tortilla chips. So maybe somebody can enlighten us all.
Okay, now I'm hooked. Now I have to know the answer. All right, very good. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So why do dogs' paws smell like corn chips? Somebody will help us. 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. And a potential answer from John in Denton. Good afternoon.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
I had an answer for the dress to the nines. They also refer to the whole 9 yards, and many people, when you say the whole 9 yards, they think it's a football term, but what it refers to is the formal length of the train of a wedding gown, like Princess Diana's. So when you dress to the nines, you're just dressing formally, real nice and formally.
Okay.
So,
all right, very good. Thanks. Let's go next to Buck, somewhere on I-20.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Actually, I just wanted to correct it. The lady called in about the water, about dividing your body weight by 2 to get the number of ounces you should drink. And that's kind of contradictory because Arnold Schwarzenegger years ago started drinking a gallon a day to be healthy. And with the students that died at SMU, he was in a fraternity, and trying to be safe, they thought, well, to make him drink a lot of water, he drank like several gallons of water, which in turn depleted the electrolytes. So 4 containers of water is fine.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thanks. We have a line open at 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. All questions answered. The first hour on Friday. Let's get a call from Peggy in Plano. Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm calling with a question and an answer.
Okay.
The blue, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was originally made by Bordens, and they used their cow as the symbol.
Okay.
It started out being made as from a milk base.
All right, so it's the symbol is the cow.
It's a cow.
Okay.
Now, my question was, the word for the exact time when the moon rises and the sun sets.
I don't
I
have
once knew the word and I forgot
slightest
it.
idea. So,
And I don't know how to look it up.
well, welcome to the club. So the time when the moon rises and the sun sets.
Yes, I'm sure we've all had that
You
experience.
you think there is a word that describes that
There is
singular
a word
moment?
for that, yes.
All right.
Okay.
We have a smart audience. We'll find out.
Okay,
All right. Thanks. And that person is dialing right now. 800-933-5372. GMS at KERA.org. And Matt in Fort Worth. Hi.
Hi, Glenn. I hope you still have your dictionary out.
Nah, I never have it. I fake it.
You need to settle a spousal dispute for me.
Oh, God. All right, go ahead.
The pronunciation of the word...
Well, first of all, it's
the
pronunciation, but...
pardon me. Pronunciation of the word that describes the spinning musical toy that attaches to a baby's crib. My wife and everybody that we ask say mobile. I say mobile, and I believe that Webster's Dictionary agrees with me.
I believe that you are correct.
You do?
Yes.
Ah, you're the man.
A Calder mobile. I mean, mobile is where you might go to buy your gas.
Right.
Mobile. Now, believe me, we have 27 minutes left in the show, and I'm prepared to be rocked. But I think that you are correct and that I am correct, and that the thing that hangs from a ceiling is called a mobile.
Thank you for your support. I have one other comment, too.
Yes.
About the dog paws.
Yeah.
I've never met a dog that would pass up a treat of a Frito or a tortilla chip, so they must not agree with us on the smell.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, you'd have a lot of bleeding dogs, I think.
Very good. All right, but unless we are corrected, I'm going with mobile.
All right. Thanks,
All right,
Glenn.
thanks. One line open, 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. All right, some answers from Hank. This goes back to mineral water. One possible reason not to overdo mineral water could be an accumulation of calcium. I have problems with kidney stones. The stones have been tested and are primarily made up of calcium oxalate. I was told to avoid an intake of calcium where reasonable or possible. So there's a thought. Let's see. And more on that from J.A. in Fort Worth. I believe the carbonation in mineral water and sodas slows the internal processes associated with aerobic activity. The body moves slower and becomes more sluggish. So maybe there's something to this. Let's see. This is a novel, so we're going to pass up on that one. Here's the deal. When you send in emails, if I can't look at them and sort of read them in 2 seconds, if I have to think, is it this or Howard's End? I'm going to go with Howard's End. So just make them real short, okay? And just like we ask people to be brief when they call, how about brief emails? To Bob in Dallas. Hi.
Hey, this is a brief call, too. When it comes to spelling bees, there are not only spelling bees, but there are also quilting bees.
Yes. Okay. So what's the answer? What is the bee part?
I have no idea why they call them bees, but it seemed like any time a group of people got together to do something, it was referred to as a bee, but I have no idea. I just wanted to chime in and say it has nothing to do with spelling.
All right. Actually, that's very good. All right. So that makes it even more complicated. So now we have spelling bees and quilting bees. All right.
And also, with the cow's head on the Elmer's glue, Elmer's was originally a Borden product, and that's Elsie.
Oh, of course.
Or at least Elmer. Elmer was Elsie's mate.
Yep.
Yep.
Very good.
So
All
I
right.
have to in a soldier's head. That's it.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
But he has actually made things more complicated now. It's not just spelling bees, it's quilting bees. So what is the bee component there? Let's get a call from Jack in Gunter. Hi.
Jack, Glenn, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, we're going to do Elmer's glue again.
Okay.
Okay, Elmer is the bull, and he was on the original recipe for glue. Elsie is the glue recipe with milk in it, like the previous caller.
Yep.
Okay, and then we have Baby Bull, and they were made from the hooves of for another type of glue. Okay, and then on the spelling bee, the spelling bee, bee is a B-E-E. It's an Americanized word in the early 1900s, and that was for considering a congregation or a competition as a group. So there.
Very good. So it at least in its earliest version meant a congregation.
Congregation, like a sewing bee.
Very
okay?
good.
And then the competition came out because it has to be a group of people.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, I love answering these questions. Let's get a call from Henry in Euless. Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
I had a question of curiosity. When a person receives donated blood and from, say, someone else, a couple of pints after an accident,
right.
how does that DNA get out of their body, the other person's DNA? How does it not get mixed in with their own?
Great question. Are you planning a crime here?
No, just curious about that.
Okay, fine. That's an excellent question, and I don't know the answer, but now I want to know, so we'll find out.
Okay.
All right. So if you give blood, you introduce your DNA into the recipient's DNA. Does that, when William Peterson on CSI is doing his stuff, does that mess him up? That's a very good question. We'll find out. 800-933-5372. GMS at KERA.org. Kim in Fort Worth says, this goes back to throwing cigarettes out of a car, lit cigarettes out of a car. Wouldn't it be illegal to throw a cigarette out of your car because littering in Texas is illegal and you can be fined several $100s? So I suppose, it can happen. Also, it's just plain rude. And I have known people who have gotten hot ash in their face from this inconsiderate, soil-polluting disregard for the environment. So there is that. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. Call us, let's see, this comes from Jay in someplace. There is a wonderful Mark Knopfler song called Sailing to Philadelphia, and in it is the following line. I am Jeremiah Dixon. I am a Geordie boy. What is the meaning of this word? I assume it means Geordie. I've checked and double-checked, and this is the correct lyric, but I don't know the answer. Somebody help us. What's a Geordie boy? 800-933-5372. GMS at KERA.org. We have 20 more minutes for your questions and answers. And in the next hour, we'll talk about Frank Sinatra and hear some wonderful tunes. But if you have a question right now, call us. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. We'll be right back.
The Deep in the Arts calendar for Friday features a Celtic celebration, Cuba on canvas, and the Clyburn. Bass Hall in Fort Worth hosts the 12th Van Clyburn International Piano Competition as it wraps up with the final performances and awards ceremony this weekend. Also in Fort Worth, the Magnolia at the Modern Film Series presents the crime thriller Layer Cake. There's also the 19th annual Texas Scottish Festival and Highland Games going on at UTA's Maverick Field. Hip Pocket Theater kicks off the summer season with the sci-fi spoof Mars Needs Women. And the Latino Cultural Center in Dallas opens up their new exhibit, Cuba Oriente. contemporary painting from eastern Cuba. For these and other events, go to the radio page of KERA.org. We're deep in the arts. I'm Jeannie Mascoro. And just a weather reminder, the National Weather Service in Fort Worth has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for the entire listening area until 7 p.m. this evening, so keep those umbrellas very handy this afternoon. There's a 60% chance of rain. That expected high today should be around 85. Overnight, the chance of rain goes down to 30% with lows of 73. Then on Saturday, a 20% chance of rain and highs of 91.
Next time on The World, Washington is celebrating the success of pro-democracy movements around the world, but there's disagreement over America's ability to export freedom.
Where freedom blooms, I think it's much more likely to be as a consequence of what people in that place demand.
Pro-democracy movements, The View from Washington, next time on The World.
This afternoon at 2 on KERA 90.1 Radio Unlimited.
Some questions you never really expect to get answers to, and then you're surprised. From Brett in someplace. This goes back to why dogs' paws smell like Fritos or something. I heard a program on NPR last year that dogs' paws smell like popcorn or Fritos or whatever because of a fungus that grows between their claws. So there you go. It's a fungus. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. And from Jules, I always told my dog he smelled like Fritos. I think it's because most dog food is cornmeal-based. Dogs lick their paws, hence their paws smell like Fritos because their saliva is tainted with dog food scent. So there you go. 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. And Robert in Corinth. Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
Wonderful show as always.
Thanks.
I have a bet with a friend of mine. He tells me that the temperature of the surface of the sun is 5,000 degrees, and I seem to think it's got to be a lot hotter than that. But I don't know the answer, and I haven't looked it up on the internet. I figured your listeners might do
Smart audience, right? All right. Two things. First of all, 5,000 Fahrenheit, 5,000. I think you're probably right. The other thing is how big is the bet?
Oh, it's not no money in it at all.
Oh, okay, all right. Because
who gets to clean the toilets?
No. It's a 10% thing if there's a bet involved with this show, but that's fine. So we will find out. I think you have to be right. I'm thinking like 25,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 100,000 degrees.
That would be my guess,
yeah, okay.
But I don't know.
All right. So even though that we don't benefit monetarily from this bet.
No. This is who gets to clean the toilet.
Okay, so we definitely aren't involved in this. But we will find out the answer.
All right,
Thanks.
you.
Somebody will know, and I hope will call right now. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. 5,000 degrees, friend. Can't be right. It's what it's like in my study. Carl in Arlington, good afternoon.
Yeah, I've got an answer and a question.
Okay.
The answer about the batteries, American National Standards Institute, ANSI, has all sorts of standards for batteries, not just the AA, Bs, whatever.
Right.
It's just maybe as many as 100 batteries, and they define what the size and everything has to be. The second is a question that, to answer his particular question, some batteries just aren't as popular as others with certain mechanisms and whatnot.
Very good.
Second issue is, I'm wondering if anybody can lead me to a document which shows independently that Juan Seguin was a true messenger from the Alamo. I noticed several movies say he was, but the issue was when he applied for his retirement, he never mentioned that. And also, he was the only messenger who didn't have a document with him when he left the Alamo. He said he was a messenger, but is there anybody can determine that he actually was a messenger?
I can't answer that, but I will bet you that we can find multiple correspondents who will give you either a yes or no on that.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. We'll find out. Somebody will call us or email us, and one way or the other, we'll get the info back to you. 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. Let's get a call from Merle in Athens. Hi.
Hey, long-time listener, never called before, and always wanted to sound super intelligent when it came time for my question to come up. But this might be rhetorical, but this has befuddled me. Why aren't people smelling their dogs' paws?
Yes, I know. The thought crossed my mind,
Well,
too.
I grew up on a farm, and that's not something that you wanted to do after running around. But anyway, I didn't want to be a smart aleck, but I'll let you know.
That's fine. No, it's still a good question. So why are you smelling your dog's paws? That's a fair question, and that's what we're here for. We ask fair questions. Let's get a call from Don in Plano. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
I got an answer for the blood question.
Okay.
It's actually kind of a yes and a no. A yes, because you are introducing a foreign DNA into your bloodstream, so conceivably, if they got that part of the blood, it would affect a DNA test.
Okay.
But, of course, that part of the blood that's transfused breaks down, so it eventually passes in the body. Interestingly enough, though, for someone who has, like, cancer and they replace bone marrow, you actually have blood with the DNA of the individual that donated the bone marrow. So that would affect an investigation because you have different DNA. It wouldn't match you.
Very good. All right. Thank you.
You bet.
One line open, 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. Email from Bill in McClendon Chisholm. The Life of Riley, goes back to that earlier question, is originally from a vaudeville song from the 1890s about a hotel keeper who dreams of what he imagines it being when he strikes it rich. It was written by Pat Rooney and was written in the 1890s. Mobile. Here we go. This comes from Jay in some place. Mobile is pronounced that way. Long O, long E. A type of moving sculptural artwork developed by Alexander Calder in 1932 and named by Marcel Duchamp, originally often constructed of colored metal pieces connected by wires or rods. The mobile has moving parts that are sensitive to a breeze or a light touch. It can be designed to hang from the ceiling or stand free on the floor. So there you go. So it is mobile. Let's get a call from John in Colleyville. Hi.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey.
Someone just answered that question about the red blood cells. How come the DNA doesn't get transferred on again? I agree with him. They get broken down by your spleen after a few weeks, so they don't stick around very long. On the spelling bee,
yes.
If you get an old English from the country of England dictionary, it says a bee is a intellectual contest put on for the entertainment of others. So you could have a math bee, a spelling bee, a geometry bee. It's just that bee happens to be spelling bee. I guess the most popular one we do in this country.
If you look that up, is it B-E-E?
You know, it's been a while since I've looked it up because I was going to call you all with that question, but I decided to look it up myself and found the answer. But I don't remember if it's B-E-E or B-E-A.
All right, your job between now and next Friday is to find out and call us back.
Do you want to hear about used soap? Do you want to hear about used soap at the
Sure,
hotel?
Of course.
What they tell you they do is they give it to a company that will recycle it and use it in homeless shelters. My suspicion is they throw it in the trash. But one of those, somewhere in between those two, lies the correct answer.
All right, very good. Thanks. One line open, 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. Got this from Anand who asks, when a catcher goes out to talk to the pitcher during a baseball game, what do they talk about and why? My guess is the catcher goes out to the pitcher because his pitches aren't working. And they are talking about how he might change his delivery or change his pitch selection, or maybe he should just call it quits and let the reliever come in. That's my guess. And a second question, when you are riding a bicycle on a path, do you still follow the rules of the road, regardless of being on the path? Not quite sure what the question's about, but maybe there's something that somebody else picks up on there. 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. And Jim in Plano. Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
That was a question about what a Geordie boy was.
Yes.
I play soccer with a bunch of guys from England, and a Geordie is somebody from Newcastle, England, that supports the football club Newcastle.
Very good. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, thanks. I love simple, direct answers. Because sometimes we get these answers that just hang out there for weeks on end. Let's get a call next from Jackie in Arlington. Hi.
Hi, Glenn.
Hey.
I've got an answer for the temperature of the sun.
Okay.
At the core, it's 27 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
And then it says the sunspots, which are like spots on the surface, are an average of 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yikes. Hotter than what I care to think about. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.